The two siblings drooled with desire, and after one bite, they exclaimed it was delicious. Harvey was very happy hearing this. Perhaps because they left that dangerous town, their expressions became much more cheerful. By the way, you said your uncle runs a shop in Rafella City too. The East? Right. Diana nodded, but didn't know if he would welcome her. Harvey wasn't worried about this problem at all. If it really doesn't work out, giving him a large sum of child support should be fine, right? Thinking they would soon part ways. Harvey actually felt reluctant. Perhaps he hadn't interacted with people for too long. Seeing him spacing out, Diana asked quietly, "Uncle, are you all right? Are you hungry?" Harvey couldn't help laughing, saying he was still quite full. After all, he had just enjoyed several vampires. Soon, night fell. On Hans's side, he had already refined all those corpses into undead and made them walk into subspace one by one. This was new magic he had comprehended. Hansa was thinking about what unexpected uses subspace might have besides storage, when suddenly another uninvited guest arrived. A sound of breaking wind rang out. A blood spear, fast as lightning, instantly pierced through his body. "You still dare to stay in town so leisurely? Aren't you looking down on us too much? Also, are you really from the Vow of the Abyss?" On the roof beam, 5 figures had appeared at some point. The leading vampire's aura was even more terrifying, reaching above pure blood. But Hans remained calm. "That's right. I am Hans, from the Vow of the Abyss. Underscore those guys. Stronghold was long ago conquered and turned to ruins. If I'm not mistaken, you're the one who stole the Immortal King fragment. What luck today? This will be your burial ground." A crimson blood scythe suddenly struck down. Hans was instantly cut in half at the waist, but he still had the mood. Joke! Really dangerous? With that, his figure turned into a shadow and dissipated. The vampire was slightly startled. She almost forgot that Hans possessed 2 Immortal King fragments. If she let him continue growing, he would definitely become a major threat. Later, Hans originally wanted to pull back some distance, but found space was sealed. The vampire sneered at him. "You can't escape. This is a barrier set up by the strongest blood magic user in my squad. You might as well surrender and die." 2 blood claws suddenly attacked. Hans quickly sensed the barrier. Although he had ways to break it, the newly acquired power still needed time to master skillfully. "Looks like I can only use that move." Hans's voice was low. "I'll say it again. I am Hans, from the Vow of the Abyss, and I am your god of death. I've remembered today's events. When we meet again next time, I'll definitely repay you 100. Finally, Hans shouted, "Dismiss summon!" His figure instantly disappeared from the spot before the others could figure out what happened. Suddenly, a black-robed person collapsed to the ground. The vampire's face was extremely ugly because she recognized that silver arrow. At the same time, the blood magic users shouted in panic, "Lord Oval, something's wrong. It's the Holy Knight, Order of the Divine Church. They've surrounded the cemetery and are approaching here." Oval was furious. "Damn Lich. Did he stay in town to delay time just for this? Fine, you've completely angered me. No matter where you escape to, I'll find you and kill you." Meanwhile, in the real world, Sun Yan Han recalled the Chunabu lines Hans said before leaving and cringed so hard he was rolling on the bed, thrashing about non-stop. But thinking about single-handedly eliminating the evil vampire organization and saving helpless girls in the entire town filled him with a sense of achievement again. Shanhan couldn't help thinking, performing so excellently, he should have gained quite a lot of karma, right? Sung Yenhan excitedly opened the system shop. When he saw over 700,000 points, he was stunned. How could there be so many? I clearly almost used them all up on upgrades last time. Could it be related? To me, instigating conflict between the dark magic users and vampires. Shanhan could only think of this possibility. So, he stopped overthinking and directly clicked upgrade. Ding. Innate skill growth. Summon avatar limit has been increased. It obtained special skill persona. This is a skill that uses avatars as containers to carry one's own emotions. This time, Seon Han was finally certain that innate skill growth developed according to the user's needs. Don't look at how calmly he interacted with others in the other world and even helped defeat powerful enemies. But he could do this because subconsciously he thought it was a game. The Seon Han in reality was still that otaku hiding in his room, escaping reality. At this moment, those negative emotions like loneliness and sadness that had been suppressed for so long came flooding in, like a bursting dam. After a long while, he said, "Hans, transfer my accumulated emotions to you," the latter said. Nothing, just silently accepted. Soon, Seon Han felt his chest lighten. Though the emotions hadn't disappeared, they seemed to be stored in a drawer. Seon Han turned and asked worriedly, "Hans, are you all right? After absorbing those emotions?" "Don't worry. Life is accompanied by pain and despair. I don't feel much about it now." Seon Han looked stunned, never expecting that one day he'd be comforted by his avatar. Maybe avatars that carry emotions developed corresponding personalities. Hans laughed maniacally, as if he was the embodiment of the world's evil. With that, the building across suddenly exploded tremendously. Han's heart jumped. Villains again! This is the city center. They're getting more and more brazen lately. But it's none of my business. The Awakeners Management Bureau should handle it. However, Haynes looked at him seriously. "Do we need a reason to eliminate evil forces?" That gaze seemed to penetrate the heart. "Son." Han's heart shook. That's right. He was just subconsciously avoiding it. Actually, he wanted to eliminate those villains more than anyone, but didn't have the courage, so he kept making excuses. But Hans was different. He took out an evil-looking mask and put it on his face, his aura surging as he said, "When worldly order shakes in chaos, comes lawless people, run rampant. But from now on, I am their law." With that, Hans's figure instantly appeared on the opposite rooftop. From 40 to 50 meters high, the conversation between two people below clearly reached his ears. Damn it. How many attacks is this now? That group has been unstoppable since forming an organization. When will our manpower be replenished? Didn't expect the villains had already formed a force? Hans, who arrived a step late, felt slightly regretful, but leaving empty-handed would be disappointing. So, he raised his hand, and instantly several eyes condensed and flew in all directions. They would become Hans's eyes in the darkness, finding those hidden sinners. Soon, Hans saw dark scene after dark scene. Some were bullying the weak, using others' mouths as ashtrays. Some were drunk and beating their wives. Others were sneaking into houses to steal at night. Hans saw everything. Clearly, although they weren't the villains he was looking for, he still wanted to punish these scum, carving fear deep into their souls, leaving indelible trauma, and making them remember that if they dared harbor evil thoughts again, they would surely see him again in the darkness. The same scenes played out throughout the city. Hans was gradually becoming familiar with his new power, but it wasn't enough. He wanted to clean the city even more thoroughly. Soon, a new day arrived. Hans, who had cleaned up scum all night, felt extremely refreshed. Although the dark eyes helped a lot, the defect was obvious. They couldn't see light. So Hans needed more effective methods to find enemies, but it wasn't good to directly release undead in the city. How should I solve this? Hans was already troubled. But then a bird actually dared to defecate on his head. Hans was immediately furious, just about to teach these stinking birds a lesson, but suddenly slapped his forehead, ubiquitous yet inconspicuous, able to move freely. Isn't this exactly what I need? At this time in the other world, Hans occupied a goblin nest near a